The night was electric at Dodger Stadium. The National League Championship Series had reached its most intense moment. The Dodgers were facing the Milwaukee Brewers, and every fan could feel that something special was in the air. Cameras flashed, flags waved, and chants echoed through the crowd. But amidst all the tension, laughter, and adrenaline, there was a moment that stole everyone's heart, not from a home run, not from a double play, but from Charlotte, who unintentionally became the center of attention in the most adorable way. Charlotte, known among local fans for her spirited reactions and love for the Dodgers, had joined the post-game celebration near the dugout. The champagne was flowing as the Dodgers celebrated their victory, with Shohei Ohtani smiling and cheering with his teammates. The locker room was filled with bubbles, music, and cheers. But Charlotte, she wasn't exactly enjoying it. In fact, her reaction was priceless. The moment that champagne touched her face, she made the funniest expression, wrinkling her nose and backing away as if the bottle itself was a villain. What made it even more hilarious was how the players noticed her reaction. Shohei Ohtani, who had just crushed another key RBI earlier in the game, noticed Charlotte's expression and couldn't hold his laughter. He pointed toward her, chuckled, and even mimicked her disgusted face. The cameras caught that instant perfectly, Ohtani laughing, champagne spraying in the air, and Charlotte covering her face with both hands in mock horror. It became the highlight of the night on social media within minutes. Fans couldn't get enough of it. Some captioned the clip, "When you hate champagne but your team wins," while others wrote, "Charlotte is the real MVP for keeping it real." The scene gave everyone a refreshing dose of humor in the middle of such an intense postseason moment. While champagne celebrations are usually chaotic and loud, Charlotte's genuine and cute reaction added warmth and personality to the moment. Earlier that evening, Ohtani had already set the tone for what would become another legendary game. He came out focused, calm, and in complete control. The Brewers pitchers tried to test him with high fastballs, but Ohtani's timing was razor sharp. He connected with a fastball in the third inning, sending it into the gap for a double that scored 2 runs. The crowd erupted, chanting, "MVP," as Ohtani raised his helmet toward the stands. In the dugout, the energy was contagious. The Dodgers bench looked confident, knowing that their superstar was locked in. Mookie Betts gave Ohtani a fist bump, and even veteran Freddie Freeman nodded in approval. But while the players were all business during the game, the post-game celebration revealed their lighter side, especially with Charlotte turning a champagne party into a comedy show. When the team entered the clubhouse, the champagne bottles were lined up, ready to pop. Ohtani, always polite and a little reserved when it comes to celebrations, tried to stay composed, but even he got drenched. He laughed it off, shaking his head as Freeman poured more bubbles over his shoulders. The team shouted in Japanese and English, "Kampai." Cheers. But just as the cameras turned to capture the fun, there was Charlotte again, cornered by the bubbly chaos. Someone tried to hand her a bottle, and her reaction was instant. She waved her hands, shaking her head, saying, "No, no, no." In laughter. The players burst out laughing. Even Ohtani couldn't help but crack up again, clapping and pointing. It was a human, funny, and utterly charming moment that contrasted the high-pressure intensity of playoff baseball. The local broadcast caught the scene and replayed it during the next inning's highlights. The commentators couldn't stop laughing either. One of them said, "I think Charlotte might prefer orange juice next time instead of champagne." It was moments like these that showed baseball's lighter side, how even in the middle of legendary performances, there's room for joy, humor, and human connection. What truly made this scene memorable wasn't just the laughter, it was the authenticity. Charlotte's reaction wasn't rehearsed. It wasn't staged for social media. It was a genuine, unscripted moment, the kind of thing fans love because it reminds them that behind every highlight reel and big game, real people are sharing joy in real time. Meanwhile, Ohtani's leadership continued to shine throughout the night. After the champagne moment, he took time to thank his teammates and even the stadium staff. He smiled humbly during interviews, focusing on teamwork rather than personal success. "It's all about the team," he said softly, as cameras surrounded him. "Everyone contributed tonight. I'm just happy to play my part." But fans were already talking about the other star of the night, Charlotte. The video clip went viral across X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The comments flooded in, "Protect Charlotte at all costs. This is the most adorable thing I've seen during a baseball celebration." Even sports blogs began picking it up, calling it the cutest moment of the postseason. What stood out most was the contrast, Ohtani's composed, professional demeanor next to Charlotte's playful, almost childlike reaction. Together, they created a memory that transcended baseball itself. It wasn't just about stats, wins, or trophies, it was about joy. As the night wore on, the celebration continued. Music blasted through the clubhouse. Players danced, poured more champagne, and posed for photos. Ohtani smiled in almost every shot, occasionally holding his jersey up or flashing a peace sign. But the camera kept finding Charlotte, now standing near the entrance, sipping a bottle of water instead of champagne, her cheeks red from laughing so much. One of the team's reporters approached her and asked, "So Charlotte, not a champagne fan?" She laughed, covering her face again. "I hate the taste. It's too fizzy." That single line became another viral moment. Fans started posting memes of Ohtani offering champagne to Charlotte with captions like, "Just one sip, please." It was pure internet gold. The next morning, sports shows replayed the scene again and again. Analysts who usually talk stats were suddenly chuckling on air. Even international media picked it up, noting how the Dodgers' celebration had produced one of the funniest postseason moments in recent memory. Ohtani himself mentioned it briefly in an interview the next day. When asked about the celebration, he smiled and said, "Charlotte made it better. She's the real MVP of the party." That quote alone sent fans into a frenzy. It showed the humility and kindness that people love about Ohtani. Even in victory, he was generous in giving others the spotlight. The Brewers, on the other hand, could only shake their heads. They had fought hard but couldn't overcome Ohtani's dominance. Even they couldn't help but laugh when reporters showed them the clip of Charlotte's champagne reaction. One of their players said, "Hey, at least someone enjoyed the night differently." By evening, memes, fan art, and playful edits were flooding social media. Some fans drew cartoon versions of Charlotte dodging champagne, while others edited slow-motion replays with dramatic music for comedic effect. It became a wholesome online trend, a reminder that baseball is not just about competition, but community. At the Dodgers' next practice, Ohtani reportedly joked about it with his teammates. "Next time, maybe we'll use sparkling water for Charlotte," he said, causing everyone to burst out laughing again. The team had clearly bonded over that shared joy. That moment, as small as it seemed, captured everything beautiful about sports: victory, laughter, humanity, and unity. For a few minutes, the world stopped worrying about numbers, records, and rivalries. Everyone, from players to fans, was connected by one funny, adorable reaction. The next time Ohtani stepped onto the field, fans in the stands held up signs that read, "Charlotte hates champagne" and "Cheers to you, Charlotte." Even the Dodgers camera crew joined in on the fun, occasionally panning to her in the stands with a sparkling cider in her hand. That energy, that blend of playfulness and love, was what made that night unforgettable. Baseball may be about strategy and skill, but moments like that remind us why people fall in love with the game in the first place. It's about heart. It's about connection. As the NLCS continued, that clip remained one of the top trending highlights. Every time Ohtani made a big play, someone would comment online, "I bet Charlotte's celebrating with sparkling water right now." It became part of Dodgers culture, a shared inside joke that bonded the fanbase even more. When asked later about the moment, Charlotte said, "I didn't think it would get that much attention. I was just being me." Her honesty was refreshing, and perhaps that's why people loved it so much. In an age of scripted celebrations and rehearsed interviews, her reaction felt real. That night will always be remembered as the game where Ohtani dominated the Brewers, and where Charlotte's charm melted everyone's hearts. Together, they gave fans something more lasting than a score, a story to smile about for years. And as the postseason rolled on, that laughter carried with the team. In every game that followed, the Dodgers seemed lighter, happier, and more united. It's amazing how one funny, human moment, a girl who hated champagne, could spark so much joy in the middle of the biggest baseball stage. It wasn't just about Ohtani's greatness, the team's victory, or the champagne showers. It was about the feeling, that shared, unguarded laughter between a superstar and a fan, a reminder that even in the most serious moments, joy always finds a way to bubble up.